Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for the playing of Ruffles and Flourishes and the national anthem. Please take your seats. Good morning and welcome to the Wyoming Military Department Awards Ceremony. I'm Carly Allen from HRO and I will be your MC. I would now like to introduce the official party. Major General Greg Porter, the Adjutant General. Colonel Barry Dybert, 153rd Airlift Wing Commander. Colonel Edward Lewis, Army Chief of Staff. Chief Master Sergeant Joshua Moore, State Senior Enlisted Leader. Colonel Brett Triple, Human Resources Officer, J1. Command Sergeant Major Lindsay Schmidt, State Command Sergeant Major. And Mr. Doug Shope, State Deputy Director. I'd also like to give a special thank you to all the family and friends that have joined us for the ceremony today. We will begin our ceremony with a few words from our guest speaker, Senior Master Sergeant Kelly Strom, Force Support Squadron Superintendent of Manpower and Personnel.
Good morning. We've come together to recognize and celebrate those of you being recognized for outstanding actions within your sections or your work centers, and also those of you who have reached milestones in your service to state and the military department. Some of you started your journey as recent as 5 years ago, while others now mark 25 years paving the way for those of us to follow. When I was offered this opportunity to come and speak, I referenced one of the tenets I live by. Words are momentary, intent is momentous. I thought about what it is that I would want to hear. What would I want to celebrate in my service? The common thread that continued to come to mind outside of individual milestones of service is demonstrated by each one of you in this room being recognized today. and that is your propensity to serve. In the Air Force, service before self is one of 3 core values that we're taught to live and model in everything that we do. An airman's professional duties take precedence over personal desires, and every airman is expected to have discipline and to follow the rules. We're expected to exhibit self-control and possess respect for the beliefs, authority, and worth of others. In parallel, the Army values consist of selfless service in putting the welfare of the nation, the Army, and your subordinates before your own. Selfless service is larger than just one person. In serving our country, you are doing your duty loyally without thought of recognition or gain. The basic building block of selfless service is the commitment of each team member to go a little further, to endure a little longer, and to look a little closer to see how he or she can add to that effort. Regardless of the clothes you wear on a daily basis, or your state or civil service position, your unwavering commitment is admirable. Whether your motivations come from deeply held beliefs, values, or maybe you just took a chance and ended up here, you've all made sacrifices, and sacrifices are inherent to selfless service. Your continuous responsibility to your fellow man and your desire to be a part of something much larger than yourselves deserves such accolades and more. In that dedication, you are all equals in your service to our state and our military department. The propensity to serve is a function of both personal inclination and the support that one receives from their community. I stand before you born into service. As the daughter of 2 Air Force active duty members, I experienced selfless service before I ever really knew what it was. It wasn't until I separated and transferred to the Guard and experienced exposure to a for-profit environment where I really understood my place in service and where I belonged. Not everyone has had that same experience. Some have finished military careers and moved on to civil service. Some entered into service with aspirations to do something great and to move on. Yet they've found their calling and they've remained and they've stayed. As an organization, our culture and our values are representative in what we do for the greater good. But on a deeper level, we are a melting pot of individual backgrounds, experiences, strengths, and skill sets. Each one of you brings something unique and important to your field and to your organization. When I walk down the hallways of this organization, this building, the hallways of the airlift wing, I see individuals who possess great talents that are leveraged towards common goals, all actively involved in a segment of our operations that, without their efforts, would lead to failure. But it's easy to get lost in the day-to-day tasks and forget just how important you and your service are. As time goes on, it becomes easier to question, why am I here? What purpose do I serve? Having served in several areas throughout my tenure in the Air Force, it is my view that there is not one function, nor one position or one person in this department that does not have an impact on another. In leading or a supporting role, everyone's efforts matter. As we all know, these are unprecedented times. The shift in global affairs, constant technological change, and generational gaps do not escape us. For most, serving through COVID was an in-your-face demonstration that change is ongoing, plans unravel, and expectations aren't always met. And as hard as it is to admit, we continue to brace ourselves in preparation for more. Significant challenges lie ahead as we all make valiant efforts to navigate increased resource constraints and the ever-growing need to do more with less. For those of us in uniform, we face some additional challenges. The enduring need for new volunteers to join our force are met with uncertainty and projected imbalances between service-eligible youth and an increasingly aging population. And more stringent armed forces qualification criteria makes our future uncertain as well. The result includes significant gaps in job proficiency, knowledge, and execution due to attrition. Challenges like these can cause us to become overwhelmed, to lose perspective, and to get lost in the day-to-day. Others may become disillusioned and jaded. For those who've been around a while, you've probably experienced the good and your fair share of the bad. Times where your dedication and sacrifice was much easier than it may be right now. But your resiliency continues to prevail. Humility and selflessness, which are all common traits of altruism, tend to shift our attention away from our individual accomplishments. It drives us to be in a constant state of change and a constant state of striving to become better. But in the meantime, we may become disengaged with the things that matter. In service, we so often focus on our constraints, our failures, our weaknesses. We don't get to measure our successes as easily as the corporate world. We study our flaws to the point of frustration sometimes, hoping to change them or alter them in some way to make us better at what we do. But in the meantime, we're forgetting what's important. And we're forgetting that we're all on the same team. As individuals, if we start to focus our efforts on really recognizing and dissecting our weaknesses, our failures, and attempt to reveal what we're good at, what do we succeed at? What if we take time to check in on one another more often? To get more curious about one another as individuals and learn each other's stories? Where does your motivation come from? What brings you in to consistently serve every single day? As you move forward in your individual journey, I challenge you to reflect on these things as well as your service outside of just today. What is your legacy? What impact do you have now? What impact do you want to have before you leave this organization? Are you the person who's celebrating 5 years when you only thought you would be here for 1? Are you the person celebrating 25 years who can't remember the obstacles you faced when you started? In celebrating your service, I encourage each of you to share your experiences with others in the organization. After all, this isn't just a job. Service is ingrained in who you are. Your opportunity to positively impact one another exists on a daily basis, and you are what makes this organization special. In closing, thank you for your efforts and your continued dedication to making this state and the military department a place of great pride, professionalism, and dedication.
Thank you, Senior Master Sergeant Strom. We will now present our state and federal service awards. These recipients are recognized for their years of dedicated service to the Wyoming Military Department. The following individuals are being awarded for 5 years of service rendered to the Wyoming Military Department. Alan Baldy. John Connolly. Tanner Looning. Matthew Mendetta. Cameron Rapp. Jacob Sauls. David Tomlinson. And Joshua Wober. The following individuals are being awarded for 10 years of service rendered to the Wyoming Military Department. Richard Avery. Chris Green. Carl Johansson. William Pacheco. Martin Perez. Bethany Powell. The following individuals are being awarded for 15 years of service rendered to the Wyoming Military Department. James Hargraves. Stephen Miller. The following individuals are being awarded for 20 years of service rendered to the Wyoming Military Department. Devin Henry. Angela Massman. We will now recognize our state employees of the quarter and of the year. Jenna Chapin is the 2021 State Employee of the Fourth Quarter. This is to certify that the State Employee of the Fourth Quarter 2021 has been awarded to Jenna Chapin for outstanding service to the state of Wyoming. Jenna Chapin distinguished herself by outstanding service as a state employee while assigned as a Benefits and Eligibility Program Analyst with the State Military Affairs Office, Wyoming Military Department, Cheyenne, Wyoming. During this period, Ms. Chapin went above and beyond her job expectations by executing more than $90,000 in state funds on short notice, resulting in education assistance coverage for dozens of Wyoming Guardsmen. She also alerted senior leadership of a critical budget shortfall that was averted by her attention to detail. Ms. Chapin's outstanding service in her job reflects great credit upon herself, the Wyoming Military Department, and the state of Wyoming. Ed Dawson. This is to certify that the State Employee of the Year for 2021 has been awarded to Ed Dawson for outstanding service to the state of Wyoming. Ed Dawson distinguished himself by outstanding service as a state employee while assigned as a skilled trades manager with the Department of Public Works, Wyoming Military Department, Camp Guernsey, Wyoming. During this period, Mr. Dawson went above and beyond his job expectations during the wildland fires in July 2021 by organizing and supervising mission-critical heavy equipment operations in direct support of the Baldy Mountain Fire on Camp Guernsey. Ed was a force multiplier in keeping the acreage burned to roughly 1,300 acres, a feat not believed to be possible had it not been for his direct contribution and dedication. Mr. Dawson's outstanding service in his job reflects great credit upon himself, the Wyoming Military Department, and the state of Wyoming. And Dana Latoshe. This is to certify that the State Employee of the Quarter, first quarter 2022, has been awarded to Dana Latoshe for outstanding service to the state of Wyoming. Dana Latoshe distinguished herself by outstanding service as a state employee while assigned as a certified teacher with the Starbase program, Wyoming Military Department, Cheyenne, Wyoming. During this period, Ms. Latoshe went above and beyond her job expectations by exhibiting a contagious positive attitude in the classroom and excelling at creating an outstanding learning environment for students to learn and apply STEM curriculum principles in and out of the classroom. She also assisted the Starbase Outreach Coordinator to provide instruction and teaching in the Starbase 2.0 program, summer camps, and professional presentations. Ms. Latoshe's outstanding service in her job reflects great credit upon herself, the Wyoming Military Department, and the state of Wyoming. At this time, we will have remarks from Major General Porter.
Hey, listen, I'll be pretty quick. We got town hall right after this, and you'll get to hear me talk a little bit longer. But I did want to, compliment Senior Chief Strom on her words. That discussion of service is right on the money, and that's really what we're recognizing here today. And it's less about what we do and what you do out there, and more about who you are and your desire to serve and continue to make our state and our nation just a little bit better. A little bit more protected, a little bit more responsive. I talk to you all the time about the sword and shield, and what you do sharpens the sharpens the sword and reinforces the shield. And what I hope for all of you is whatever your passion in life is that you get to bring to this family, this team that we have, that you get to do that every day. And especially for those of you that have started to serve in the 20, 25 years. That's critical, and what you bring and what you've done, I just thank you so much for what you continue to do. So, thanks, everybody. I appreciate it very much. I think we're going to try to get to the town hall as soon as we can, a quick break, and then we'll turn. But thanks, everybody, for being here and allowing us to thank these folks for their service. Thank you.
Thank you, Major General Porter. This concludes the awards ceremony. Please stand for the exit of the official party.